Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video from our channel Who Died U.S. In this video, we'll be highlighting American celebrities who have passed away recently in the last few days, along with other notable figures from around the world. Before we proceed, we kindly ask you to show your love and support by giving this video a like. It means a lot to us. Thank you, and now let's start. Paul Joseph Morrissey was the kind of filmmaker who drew you into worlds full of irony, darkness, and an unfiltered look at raw human nature. He wasn't just a director, he was a provocateur, capturing New York City's underground in its most brazen form. From his early collaborations with Andy Warhol to his last film, News from Nowhere, his work challenged norms and conventions. Morrissey died on October 28, 2024 at 86 in Manhattan following a battle with pneumonia. Born in 1938, Morrissey grew up in a strict Irish Catholic household in Yonkers. He enrolled in Fordham University, but his path took a sharp turn toward the avant-garde cinema scene of the East Village. In 1965, Morrissey met Andy Warhol, sparking a creative bond that would birth films like Flesh, Trash, and Heat. Working at Warhol's factory, Morrissey found his muses in the personalities who frequented this gritty art hub. From Joe D'Alessandro's iconic performances to Candy Darling's unforgettable presence, Morrissey made stars out of New York's misunderstood and marginalized. In 1971, Morrissey even directed Women in Revolt, a fearless satire starring trans icons Jackie Curtis, Holly Woodlawn, and Candy Darling. He knew the power of boldness and wielded it like a double-edged sword. Morrissey wanted his work to stand apart from anything conventional. His European-made films, Flesh for Frankenstein and Blood for Dracula, cast his raw storytelling onto the world stage with a darkly humorous lens. Returning to New York in the 1980s, he crafted the New York Trilogy, a reflection of the city's turbulent landscape during the Ed Koch years. Morrissey never let his strict conservative Catholic beliefs cloud his vision for cinema. His films, he said, simply portrayed the emptiness in people's lives, giving a sympathetic voice to the lost. Jerrod Mustaf died on his birthday, October 28, 2024. He was 55, a former NBA player, a man with both triumph and tragedy marking his path. Mustaf's journey started in the heart of Maryland, where his talent at DeMatha High School set him on a path to basketball stardom. He was one of the most heavily recruited players in the nation, a future NBA star in the making. College came next, and Mustaf joined the Maryland Terrapins. His skills drew the attention of the NBA, and in 1990, the New York Knicks selected him as the 17th overall pick in the NBA draft. Mustaf's NBA career spanned 4 years, playing with the Knicks and the Phoenix Suns, before he found his way into international leagues in Greece, Spain, and Turkey. He was an athlete with determination and grit, but his life was darkened by one terrible event. On July 22, 1993, Mustaf's girlfriend, Althea Hayes, was found dead in her Arizona apartment. She had been shot. Hayes was pregnant with Mustaf's child, and her tragic death raised questions that would haunt him for years. Reports surfaced that Mustaf had expressed displeasure about the pregnancy. Witnesses recalled Hayes calling a friend for help and expressing fear. The investigation pointed to Mustaf's cousin Levani Wooten, who was seen at the apartment complex that night. In 1996, Wooten was convicted of Hayes' murder and sentenced to life in prison. Yet questions lingered with lead homicide investigator K.C. Skull, later stating in 2017 that he believed the case could still be won. Afterward, Mustaf's life took a new direction. He became the CEO and president of the Street Basketball Association in Maryland and dedicated his time to the Take Charge program, a nonprofit helping vulnerable youth. The once promising NBA star ended his days trying to give back, even as shadows from his past remained. John Fontaine Keenan was more than a judge. He was a force in the American legal system. He passed away on October 27, 2024, at the age of 94, leaving a legacy marked by high-profile cases and a career that spanned decades. He was born in Manhattan on November 23, 1929, and from a young age, his path seemed carved toward justice. He was a graduate of Regis High School and Manhattan College. Keenan went on to study law at Fordham University, setting the stage for an extraordinary journey in the legal world. In 1956, he began his career as a young attorney in New York City. Quickly gaining a reputation for his toughness and skill, he joined the New York County District Attorney's Office. And by 1970, he was leading its Homicide Bureau. His career continued to rise as he became Chief Assistant District Attorney of Queens County and later New York County. His fight against corruption took a bold step when he became a Deputy State Attorney General, tasked with prosecuting corruption in New York City between 1976 and 1979. In 1983, President Ronald Reagan nominated him as a judge for the United States District Court for the Southern District of New York. His role was monumental, overseeing cases that ranged from the Iran-Contra affair to the Bhopal gas tragedy. In 1988, he presided over the corruption trial of Bess Meyerson, and in 1990, the racketeering case of Imelda Marcos. His decisions often sparked debate, like when he blocked a gay Irish group from marching in New York's St. Patrick's Day parade due to safety concerns. In his personal life, he married Diane Nicholson in 1956, and together they had 2 children. His career hit a unique note when he served on the United States Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court from 1994 to 2001. His final years were marked by senior status, but his impact remained immeasurable. John Fontaine Keenan's life was one of dedication, complexity, and a relentless pursuit of justice. William M. Beavers was never a man to stand quietly in the shadows. He was a figure who sparked opinions across Chicago politics. Power and controversy followed him from his days as a police officer to his influential role as an alderman and later as a county commissioner. His story ended on October 26, 2024 at the age of 89, but not before he left a mark on Illinois politics like few others. Born on February 21, 1935, in the Kenwood, Oakland neighborhood, Beavers was one of 6 children in a working-class African-American family. His father was a steelworker, and his mother juggled retail jobs and waitressing. His father's tragic death in a work accident was a turning point. Beavers carried that resilience with him as he served 21 years as a Chicago police officer before stepping into a career that would make him both a loved and controversial figure. In 1983, Beavers took office as alderman for Chicago's 7th Ward, earning a reputation as a progressive voice in the city council. He championed the creation of judicial districts to enable Black lawyers to secure judgeships across Chicago's south and west sides and in suburban Cook County. His knack for navigating power earned him a spot as chairman of the Police and Fire Committee, and eventually the Budget Committee. Yet his unique personality showed itself when he openly testified on April 11, 2000, at a public hearing about Hugh Hefner, saying he had read Linda Lovelace's book and been to topless beaches, though not nudist camps. His candor was both refreshing and controversial. In 2006, he orchestrated a political maneuver that shifted power across Chicago. In a deal, he swapped roles with Cook County Board President John Stroger, who'd suffered a stroke. Beavers took Stroger's commissioner seat. Mayor Daley appointed Beavers' daughter Darcel to his 7th Ward seat. Yet not all of Beavers' moves would serve him well. In 2012, he faced federal charges for tax evasion. Convicted in 2013, and sentenced to 6 months in prison. This conviction, upheld in 2014, added a shadow to his legacy. Holden Trent was the kind of talent that lit up a field even from the shadows. A fierce goalkeeper with dreams as vast as the skies over his Greensboro home. On October 26, 2024, at just 25 years old, his story ended too soon, but not before he left an unforgettable mark on American soccer. Born on July 7, 1999, Trent grew up in North Carolina with a passion for the game that drove him from local fields to Major League Soccer. Rising through North Carolina Fusion U23 and Charlotte Independence, he honed his skills until drafted in 2022 from High Point University. His dream had always been the big leagues, and Philadelphia Union gave him that chance. Though mainly a backup goalkeeper for the team, Trent made notable appearances for Philadelphia Union too. Each game he played showed his agility and hunger for greatness. On October 23, his family shared that he had been hospitalized. It was a shock that rippled through the community. Just days later, he was gone. The Philadelphia Union community mourns the loss of a young athlete who had much more to give. And the legacy he leaves behind resonates with every young player chasing a dream. Dominic Harris lived a life framed in the gritty landscapes of film and television. Born in New York City on June 18, 1949, his journey led him from the halls of the High School of Performing Arts to an iconic moment on the big screen. But it was 1979 as the Warriors where he etched his name in cinematic history. As Coach Eyes, the young gang member with a fearless swagger, Harris became a cult figure inspiring audiences who saw something raw and real in his performance. In his early career, he starred as Haywood Patterson in the TV film Judge Horton and the Scottsboro Boys, marking the beginning of his presence on screens across America. He went on to appear in films like Brubaker alongside Robert Redford, and took roles throughout the 80s that kept him in the spotlight. Though he mostly played supporting characters, he brought an unforgettable intensity, especially in roles as police officers and military figures. In 2005, he returned to his roots, lending his voice to the Warriors video game, reprising his role as Coach Eyes. But his last on-screen appearance was a fitting final act in Law & Order SVU in 2012. On October 25, 2024, at 75 years old, Harris passed away from cancer at his home in New York City. Ron Perry, Sr. was a legendary figure whose impact on sports and education rippled through generations. Born into a world where hard work met talent, he transformed the landscape of athletics at Holy Cross. He passed away on October 25, 2024, at the age of 92. Leaving behind a legacy as a rare two-sport national champion. In 1952, Perry shone as a sophomore pitcher, leading the Crusaders to victory in the College World Series, defeating Texas. Just 2 years later, he celebrated his birthday by throwing a no-hitter against Harvard, showcasing his incredible talent. His prowess continued on the basketball court, where he co-captained the Crusaders to a NIT championship in 1954, alongside legends like Tommy Heinsohn. Returning to Holy Cross in 1972 as athletic director, Perry revolutionized the program, introducing women's athletics and overseeing the construction of modern facilities. His leadership earned him a place on the Silver Anniversary basketball team, alongside the great Bob Cousy. Off the field, Perry was a devoted family man, taking care of his wife Pat after her stroke while raising 3 children. His son Ron Perry Jr. followed in his footsteps, becoming a star at Holy Cross. As the sports community mourns the loss of this remarkable man, his spirit and achievements will forever inspire. Jerry Taylor was a trailblazer whose words and vision propelled the Star Trek universe to new heights. Born on June 30, 1938, in Evansville, Indiana, she embarked on a journey that would intertwine her life with one of the most beloved franchises in television history. Her early days at Indiana University fueled her passion for storytelling, which led her to craft scripts for shows like Little House on the Prairie and The Incredible Hulk. In 1987, she joined the writing team for Star Trek: The Next Generation, just as it was gaining momentum. Taylor quickly rose through the ranks, becoming a supervising producer and later an executive producer during the show's 7th season. Her contributions included iconic episodes such as The Drumhead and Unification, which showcased her talent for creating complex narratives and memorable characters. After The Next Generation ended, Taylor seamlessly transitioned to Star Trek: Voyager, where she continued to shape the series as head writer. Her dedication to the craft was evident as she even authored novels that delved deeper into the lives of her characters. On October 24, 2024, Jerrod Taylor passed away at the age of 86, leaving behind a legacy of creativity and inspiration that will resonate with fans for generations to come.
In a world filled with diverse spiritual messages, Pastor Paul Washer emerges as a powerful voice for biblical truth and genuine faith. Washer's journey began with a transformation during his time at the University of Texas, where he initially pursued a career in law. This path changed dramatically when he experienced a profound conversion to Christianity, igniting his desire to preach the gospel. Washer then honed his theological understanding at Southern Baptist Theological Seminary, solidifying a foundation in biblical truth that would shape his life and ministry. With a deep conviction to spread authentic Christian teachings, Washer served as a missionary in Peru for a decade. His heart for supporting indigenous missionaries led him to found the Heartcry Missionary Society in 1988, an organization devoted to empowering local missionaries to spread the gospel in their communities. Heartcry, which began with modest roots, has grown to support over 326 missionary families across 62 countries, reflecting Washer's unwavering commitment to global evangelism. Known for his fiery sermons, Washer's shocking youth message struck a powerful chord, warning his audience against superficial faith and the dangers of a false gospel. This sermon alone garnered millions of views on YouTube, revealing his dedication to challenging modern Christian perspectives and encouraging genuine repentance. Washer's teachings consistently emphasize the importance of true conversion and a return to biblical principles in a world increasingly marked by spiritual compromise. Throughout his career, Washer has faced criticism, especially from those uncomfortable with his forthright message. Yet he remains resilient, relying on prayer and scripture to guide him. His dedication to integrity in ministry has resonated with followers who value his unwavering stance on faith no matter the opposition. His 2017 heart attack and subsequent 2023 heart bypass surgery tested his endurance, yet he has continued to serve faithfully undeterred by these physical trials. As of 2024, Washer continues his ministry with renewed vigor, engaging in conferences, speaking engagements, and various projects that extend his impact in the Christian community. His recent book, The Preeminent Christ, highlights his commitment to promoting Christ-centered teachings in an age of shifting values. Washer's influence endures as a beacon of steadfast faith, urging believers to seek genuine transformation. As we reflect on Pastor Paul Washer's profound contributions, his life reminds us of the importance of staying true to the gospel. Thanks for watching, and until next time, may we embrace the biblical truths he so passionately shares.